People pray for spouses, we ask for them, and they all come. What if they are not the answer from God? That's exactly what we want to discuss in this week's episode. Because sometimes we have a list of the kind of people we want to date, to court, to marry. But what if these people we are asking for from God are not really fit or the right persons for us? And we're not saying that having preference, having a list, a bucket list, specific list is a wrong thing. But once you have your list fixed, your mind fixed of that kind of person you want from God, are they really what you want? Are they God's will for you? Are they the right person or people for you? These are the things we're going to look at. So the topic for this episode is, are you currently dating the person God sent or the person you ask God to send to you? It's going to be a very interesting time. My name is Pastor Samuel, and this is Mingle.com Relationship Podcast, where we discuss issues that has to do with love, dating, courtship, marriage, happily ever after, trouble, heartbreak, confusion, and make sense of all of it, and then give you solution and a sense of direction. Welcome again. We're going to go right straight into it.
So my first question for you is, why do people sometimes pray for a spouse so specifically that they struggle to recognize an answer that doesn't match their description?
Yeah, when we pray many times, and this happens to almost everybody, we have the list, our specification of the kind of man or woman we want God to give to us. I take my mind back to when I was in 300 level University of Benin. That was the first time I made a list of the kind of wife I want to marry. I wrote a vivid description of this woman, God-fearing, dark in color. I measured the height, the size of the legs, her physique, statistics. I did all of those things. Now I can't even remember what that list is. There are many of us like that. So when we have this list written out, it conditions our prayer point. And listen, I've divided this into three, where that prayer point is coming from. First is the aesthetics, how the person should look, the height, the finesse, the swag, the dressing, the beauty, you get, and it's where we begin to pray from. The second category is, does this person compliment me? For some category, they pray, I want somebody that will compliment me. Maybe I'm tall, I want a shorter guy or a shorter wife. Maybe I'm fat, I want someone leaner. All of this informs the kind of language we use when we go to pray to God. The next category are those who pray from a position of leverage. What can this person add to my life? I'm from a broke family, so I want a guy that is doing well. I don't want a poor guy. You get, or I'm from a less educated background. I want to marry a woman who is more educated, or a man who is more educated. So our prayer point is funded from each of these categories. Now the problem here is, when you are stuck on your description, it affects discernment. So if the right person comes and doesn't come in the jacket you've described or prescribed for God, you miss it. So description, bucket list will affect your sense of discernment, will affect your sense of your ability to make the right choice. So if you are stuck on your bucket list or your specification, you most likely may miss the right person who is fit, who can build the kind of life you want them to build for you. So what I would advise on this note is that whilst you have your bucket list, now I know you want to ask me, because you're the wife you eventually married, because you're guessing I'm already married. Do they fit that list you wrote when you were in 300 level? And my answer would be yes and no. Because one of the things, the point there was she should be dark. Yes, I married a dark woman. On the height, I don't think I got it right. Amen. On the size, I don't think I got it right. Is she pretty? Yes, she's pretty. But another thing I will add, that list changed. By second semester 300 level, I wrote another one under the tree. That list also changed. So the point here is, whilst you have your specification, we must be flexible. You get it? If you are flexible, you would have that opportunity to compare what is before you and the list you've written, and then be able to give an opportunity for the Spirit of God or for the Lord to make input in that decision. So be flexible. Now, another category of persons are those who they didn't write a list, no bucket list, no specification, but a prophet give them a word and describe exactly what they saw regarding their spouses. And then they hold on to that prophecy. And now somebody comes who does not fit that prophecy. What should they do? I know there are plenty of people listening to me in this category. One prophet or pastor or friend or somebody saw a vision on your behalf and told you, I saw you on the altar and I saw a man or woman standing next to you, and they described what they saw. The person has a mark on the cheek, has a birthmark somewhere on their body, and they give you signs. So what do you do? And the people are coming, but nobody is fitting that description. What do you do? Again, if you are in this category, advice, be flexible. If you are flexible, because sometimes when we ask these people or persons from God, God will send them, but they may not fit the prophecy exactly or come in the jacket or package we expect them to come in. So if you are flexible with discernment, you will be able to make the right choice. So that's what I will advise on this note. Okay.
So my next question for you is, I'm talking about beauty versus character.
Yeah.
What if the person someone is praying for has everything they find physically attractive, but lacks the character and qualities needed to build the life they've been asking God for?
Now, this is the point where beauty can be very deceptive, or attraction can be or even chemistry can be very misleading. Because that somebody has the kind of profile you expect or you've asked from God, or that bucket list or that specification. It has it, everything. The person is physically beautiful the way you want it. The person, dresses nice the way you want it. Or the person has the kind of money you've always desired to have. That the person has all of these things does not mean the person has the character quality to build that kind of life you really desire. Because behind the list, we have the way we want our life to be. Nobody wants to get married and get divorced. Nobody wants to date somebody and get beaten. Nobody wants to get into a date and not move that date into courtship, and then from courtship to the altar. Nobody wants to start something they can't finish. It's human nature. We always want to finish what we begin or what we began. So that the person has all of these things, that person may not guarantee you that kind of life that you want. So somebody may have prayed, oh Lord, I want a woman with a pointed nose, a woman that is very fair, a woman that has won the Miss World pageant at one time or the other, and you get that kind of a person. But does beauty translate into wisdom? Let's look at it. That the person is very pretty, very tall, very elegant. Does it translate into the person having wisdom? You like the way the person walks. You like the tone of their voice. They have baritone. When they talk to you, you just feel all the tingling around your body. Does it translate to maturity, emotional maturity? You can answer that. You've met people who look all of this, but on relating with them, you realize they lack emotional maturity. They are not mature at all. Or they have all the money. Does it translate to character? Because listen, what beauty brings to you, marriage you will expose. You are very pretty. but you struggle with cooking. You are very pretty, but you struggle with keeping yourself neat. That beauty would attract a man to you. But you see, on dating you for a protected period of time, it begins to reveal the crack you have in your character. That's what it does. Because listen, when attraction or beauty brings you to a point, it takes character to continue from where beauty stops. So, if you are in the point where you are struggling with, okay, this is beautiful, okay, this is not okay, or it didn't tick all the boxes, you have to settle down, tear it down to character. Because on the long run, it is character that will sustain. It is character that will build. It is character you are going to depend on. It is character that will ensure that that thing you started remains happily ever after.
All right, talking about character, now we have attraction versus compatibility. So, what if the person who gives you butterflies isn't the person who gives you a future?
Wow. Yes, yes. This it's a very, very germane issue in almost every relationship, especially those that are in the dating and courtship phase. This is where, chemistry, when you have a strong chemistry with someone, and sometimes what that does is it just makes people focus on how they feel. Oh, this person makes me feel it. I feel it with this person. Oh, this person just makes me, all the butterflies in my stomach are just flying everywhere. Oh, this person just knows how to talk to me. So you focus more on how you are feeling and less on whether this person can build the kind of future that you want for yourself. Because so that happens a lot. But you know that you are so physically attracted to someone does not guarantee that you and that person can work together. You can be so strongly attached, have strong chemistry with someone. That doesn't mean that you and that person can build the kind of future that you want. So, compatibility goes deeper than feelings. Because when it comes to the real issue, especially who you are going to spend the rest of your life with, you have to begin to ask certain questions that goes beyond how you are feeling at that time. Certain questions that goes beyond the kind of power of attraction you have with that person. The kind of question that goes beyond the physical or sexual attraction you are having with that person, or the sexual chemistry you are feeling at the moment with the person. You have to ask yourself a real question, because marriage demands that you ask a deeper question. Can we build together? When we have a disagreement with this person, how long will it take for us, to resolve it, handle conflict? What about their value on family? Do they believe that a man goes to work, closes, and comes back home? Or do they think that it's okay for a man after work to hang out in the bar and then come back at 11 p.m. because it's a man? Is it okay for us to share responsibility, to get involved with me in taking care of the children? What about education? So these are the real questions that we have to ask. But listen, because the differences do not disappear simply because you have a very, very strong chemistry. Strong chemistry doesn't wipe away differences. The differences will be there. The differences will be there. You get it? So you cannot base whatever decision you want to make currently. In case you are here, you are at the verge of making this level of commitment. You cannot base it on the feeling of attraction or the chemistry you are feeling at the moment. You cannot. You must ask yourself real question. Because listen, attraction can break them. Character is what it takes to keep. The person can pull you through their physical appearance, their beauty. It is their character that will eventually sustain you. That both of you can function together is a function of character quality, not attraction. You get? So what attraction brings is character that will keep. And usually what marriage does is marriage will expose what you do. It will expose what attraction or beauty tries to hide. So please, that's the essence of this podcast. If you're at the verge where, I remember a case where this fellow, about 60 plus at the time, dated this former beauty pageant. I want to call describe it or call any name just for to maintain their privacy. But these two, she was at the time 25, tall, pretty, fair, with all the statistics in place the way you will like it. And this fellow was above 60. He was fairly doing well, and that's the person he was attracted to. Wooed her, chased after her, and eventually she agreed to his proposal and they began to date. In fact, planning to get married. So one of these occasions, they came into town where I was, and this guy was my spiritual son. Introduced her to me, so pretty, exchanged pleasantries, and then we left. And then a couple of days after, I got an SOS call from one of the hotels where we were lodging. The guy was calling incessantly. So I picked the call. I said, "What's up?" He said, "Oh, please, I need your help now. You are the only one this girl can listen to." So I rushed down to the place. What were they doing? They were in the lobby of the hotel in a serious fight. She was throwing different things at him, calling him all kinds of names, accusing him of not being able to perform in the bed, just shaming him whichever way she could. Now she's pretty. But you see, like I said before, pretty doesn't translate to emotional maturity. Pretty doesn't translate to wisdom. It is character, eventually, that will sustain any level of relationship you are gunning for, whether it's dating, whether it's courtship, or even marriage. It is character at the end of the day that will sustain that relationship through thick and thin.
So my next question is about the person or the lifestyle. How can someone know whether they are choosing a person because of who that person truly is, or because of the lifestyle, status, money, or image that comes with them?
No, we can't rule this benefit out of people's choices. Sometimes people make choices because of the lifestyle that this person affords for them, or the benefit they're getting from this particular person or this particular lady or man. And it's prevalent today in our society. Our society has become very materialistic. So somebody wants to date you just simply because of what they stand to make from you, or the kind of life they're going to begin to enjoy just because they are dating you. So it's prevalent in our society. But again, it doesn't also guarantee that if you are looking for a lasting future with this person, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have that kind of a future. Because if you base your decision on what you can get, what happens when that thing is no more there? If you base it on how beautiful these people are, or how beautiful the girl is, what happens if the beauty fades away? What happens? Do you stop loving them? Do you run away? And we've seen this a lot, especially between when the man is the one that is at the receiving end, when you are the one out of money. Maybe you've lost your job, or businesses are not coming the way they used to come, so you can't afford that kind of life anymore. we've had stories. I mean, the social media is replete with this kind of stories. And then they come out and begin to shame you as a man who is not able to provide. That is one example. When you base your decision for dating, courtship, or marriage on the kind of life they afford you at the moment. And so, what do? So, my advice would be this. If you want to really, really know why you are with the person you are with, strip them. Strip that person of every benefit you are getting from that person. Take the cars away, take the house away, take the beautiful, exotic gift they give to you away. Just strip them down to their character. And then ask yourself, if this is all I get from this person, is it enough for me to still love them and be with them? If you can't really, genuinely say yes to that question, then you know you are with them because of what you've been gaining from them. It's not actually real love. It's not a real commitment. It's circumstantial just because of the benefit you get. And it's not just between a woman. It swings both ways. There are men now who look for women who are well-to-do and date them or marry them. You get so, but strip yourself and then ask yourself the question. Take everything away. If this person cannot afford this kind of life from me, if he can't afford it going forward from now, will I still be willing to love them, be with them, spend time with them? If your answer is no, then you know where you belong.
Good person, wrong match. What if someone meets a genuinely good person, kind, responsible, loving, and full of potential, but they simply don't fit together? Does a person have to be bad before someone can accept that they are not the right match?
No, that two people are not a perfect match doesn't mean one person is bad. It doesn't have to be bad for it to be a wrong match. It doesn't have to. And that's because somebody can be really responsible, hardworking, caring, providing, can be all that, educated, pretty, has plenty of money, and yet still be a wrong match for you. Because listen, staying with someone or spending your time with someone, your life with someone goes beyond what they can provide. There are other salient needs or desires we have. For instance, the person, does it speak your love language? Are you in agreement over certain values? Don't forget, there are also values that also determine who you can build with. So they can be nice and good, prayerful, spirit-filled, attending church, even in the choir, amen, attending Bible studies, are there driving you everywhere you want them to go. You may not even feel that attraction for them or that what we call chemistry. You may not feel anything for them. And that really, really happened. That's why, listen, even the Bible says the way of a man and a woman is even strange to God, because you just can't tell. Why do you love this person and then not this one? You get, and that's where that chemistry comes in. I feel like this towards this person, and I don't feel like this towards the other. Even though this person I don't feel it for has everything that I need in a man. You get, so it doesn't have to be wrong for it to be a mismatch. Your values, are they aligning? Your values regarding your faith, they may be perfect, having everything together, but you differ when it comes to faith. They may be perfect. You differ when it comes to love language. They may be perfect, but the idea for marriage is different from your idea for marriage. They may be perfect and stingy. So just these values just make all the difference. Remember, I told you that differences do not disappear simply because you have a strong chemistry with the person. So that's my take on that.
All right. So my last question for you: what we want versus what is right. What's the difference between asking God for a person with desire and asking God for the discernment to recognize the person who is actually right for us?
Yes. On the final note, if you want to get it right, like I said in my introduction, there is nothing wrong with having a preference, having a list. I had my own list, but I was flexible enough. I was willing, surrendered completely enough to allow God's will interfere in my own will. You get, so it's good to have your bucket list, but don't be stuck on it. Surrender it to God. Be fully and totally surrendered to Him. Hand over your will to Him, and let it be that you are willing to submit to God's will when it comes and not your will, so that your bucket list or your specification just becomes a guide. As the people are coming, you weigh them against your list or your specifications, and then take it to prayer and be open and allow God guide you. If we do it this way, listen, even if the person comes and the person does not fit the mold, you are sensitive enough to know, yes, that this is the one that God has sent to me. For instance, I have another, example I want to share, because I get involved a lot in relationship issues, getting people married, praying for them, counseling, guiding them. So this particular occasion, several years back, this daughter of mine, we've been praying together for marital settlement, prayed, and then a time came when she was sent to Lagos for an assignment. Now, whilst she was preparing to go, now it wasn't her that was supposed to go, it was her immediate boss, who eventually fell sick. So it fell on her. So she reluctantly decided or agreed to go. Now, where the event was supposed to take place in Lagos, they prepared protocol to come and pick them. One car for each of the dignitaries coming. And for her, so a car was prepared with a driver. So she got to the airport, got into the car, and they were driving. They didn't talk to themselves. The guy didn't say anything to her. She also didn't say anything. Busy preparing for the conference she was going to attend. Now, each day she was there for about a week. She just noticed it was the same driver, the same car that was picking her. Hotel, back to the venue. Hotel, back to the venue. Unknown to her, the guy has been checking her out from the airport. So the last day of the event, they finished, she was rushing back, and then they got to the airport. The guy requested for a phone number. She was taken aback. Why are you asking for my number? And the guy started trying to chat her up, get her to talk. Eventually, she gave the phone number. Now, to cut long story short, that's the guy she's married to today. But what's the point? When the guy began to talk, express his intention to her, everything was okay, but she had one issue or two issues with the guy. Number one, the guy was average height because she was tall. Secondly, the guy had this very thick accent, which she could not stand. So she called me and said, listen, like this guy, I said, listen, just give the guy attention. Remember, we've been praying. I said, so give him attention. Invite him over to come to Abuja so you guys can see. So he came, they saw, they spoke, they went out, but she was stuck on the height and his submission. It was so thick. And she was saying, no, I'm going to walk out of this. I can't. Let me just end it. And I said, no, listen, sometimes when we pray, it may not come in the package we've asked God to send it in. The package may be different, but that doesn't mean it may not be God's will. So we sat down and I took her through certain procedures. I said, okay, let's sift this out. Let's look at values that are changeable, values that cannot be changed. So I listed height and values that, cannot be changed. So we did comparison. The guy had more values that you can build a life on than the attribute you can build a life on. Incidentally, tunation, height, color was under that. There's really nothing we can do. You can't tell God increase his height or pray. It will just go a few inches taller. No, we can do that. I also cannot lay hands on him and change his color. I said, but you see, that accent can be improved on. I said, so take him up on it. So she called him back and then they spoke and then she listed the reasons why she would say no. And the guy said, you know what? What you've asked, anything you want me to do, I'm going to do. I said, the accent, we can improve on it. And, to my surprise, the guy said, listen, I will take speech training. I will do anything. And the guy did. He didn't completely erase, but it was improved. But today, that's who she's happily married to with twins. So we have to be flexible if we want to get it right. Your will submitted to God's will, and then willingness to listen and follow God's will. If we do this, we will not get it right. And I know that many of us are living on this bracket. Somebody is around you now. They are not tall, they are black, they are fair, they can't talk right, they don't even have a very good job that pays. That's another factor we also have to talk about. They have a job now, but the job is not paying much. Or they started the business, still at the beginning stage. They're not earning much more. What should you do? And you are believing God, you want to marry a man that has plenty of money. What should you do? Listen. Listen to God. He knows the future. He knows 10 years from now. He knows 50 years from now. He knows the trajectory of that guy or that girl that is in front of you. If you team up with him, he will advise you correctly, because life changes. You are broke now. 1, 2, 3 years. They may never remain broke. They may have money now. 1, 2, 3 years. All the money may disappear. So you have to get it right. And I believe that if you team up with God, submit your will to his will, and be willing to follow God's will, you will get it right. All right, we're going to wrap it up here until I see you again next week. This is mingle.com, where we deal with issues that has to do with love, marriage, relationship, decision making, happily ever after. And I believe as you continue to stay tuned with us, you're going to get it right. You're going to enjoy that happily ever after. Is it possible? Yes, it is. And I believe God is possible for you. No matter your experience, you can still have a happily ever after marriage, relationship, and in life. All right. So I want you to please subscribe to this channel, share it. Don't just listen to it alone. Share it with others. Let them also enjoy what you have been enjoying. And follow me every week, 4 p.m. on Fridays. I'll see you again in the next episode. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Bye.